All right, Eli here. Hey everybody, today just want to talk to you about the component of success that is often overlooked. You know, I'm doing these workshops again with Tony Robbins, going around helping them out, fill out the events and things like that. So I've talked to a lot of people, and I often ask this question about what does it really take to become successful? In other words, what do you need to do? What do you need to think? What is it about a human being that separates the ones who are successful versus those who barely get by? And when I think about the ones who are successful, or we talk about those, people often say they're disciplined, they're focused, they're passionate, they're hungry, they're determined, they're energetic, they're charismatic, they're hardworking, they take action, they're confident, just all these different things. When I say what stops people from being successful, it's fear, insecurity, doubt, laziness, complacency, all these different things. But the one thing, the one aspect of success, of what it takes to become successful that nobody ever talks about is this, and I want to share with you today. But first, you think about this. You think about the most successful people in the world. What do they do all day? Think the President of the United States, CEO of a company. They sit around and they make decisions all day. And think about it. We vote for one president versus another president because we say, hey, we think this guy is going to make better decisions than this guy. CEO of a company, they sit around and they make decisions that affect a large amount of people. Henry Ford said it best in that book, Think and Grow Rich. You probably read it. He said, successful people make decisions quickly and that are slow to change their mind. Unsuccessful people hardly ever make up their mind, and when they do, they're constantly changing it back and forth, wishy-washy, like, do I want this, do I want that? They have so much indecision. Indecision is what kills confidence. And here's the thing, success, the ability to make great decisions in your life, comes from experience. And your experience usually comes from bad judgment. So it's not about making the right decision. Leaders, successful people don't always make the right decision, but they always make the decision right. That is, no matter what happens, they go for it, and then they know they're going to figure it out in the end because they're clear about their outcome. But you got to take decisions. You can't be paralyzed by fear and say, oh, what I'm going to do. Because here's the thing, if you sit around, if I say I'm going to maybe go over here at 8, or maybe I should meet this friend at 8:30, and I got these two different options, and I'm like, well, you know, if I rush and I get there, or maybe if I do this, and if I waffle back and forth long enough, I look at the clock, it's 9 o'clock, and both opportunities have passed me by, and that's what happens to people so often. So I want to talk to you really quick about 3 decisions that you're making unconsciously every single moment of your life. And the better you are at understanding and controlling these 3 decisions that you're not even aware of that you're making right now, if you can really get a grasp of what these are and how to effectively utilize these decisions to really understand them, check in every once in a while, you can change everything in your life. So the first decision is what to focus on. Right now, as you're sitting there, you're probably on Facebook, on YouTube, something like that. You could be focused on this video. You could be focused on your iPhone. You could be focused on something that happened a year ago. You could be something that's going to happen in the future. But like they say in that book, Eckhart Tolle says in The Power of Now, that your life is happening now. You're most powerful when you are operating in the now. Some people are trying to change things that happened in the past. They focus, if that hadn't happened, or if she hadn't said that, or if I had done that before, I didn't mess up before. And their energy, their focus, even though they're talking to you, they're locked in your eyes right there, there's a part of them energetically that is focused on something in the past. Does that make sense? Their energy, their focus, every time anything bad happens, they're like, well, if this hadn't happened before, their mind always goes there. Is that they have a pattern, a habit of focus. And so the most powerful thing you can do is be focused in the moment, because this is where your life happens. And if you're trying to control things that are in the future or even in the past, you set yourself up for disappointment, because you can't change the past, and you can influence the future, but you can't change the future. You know, there's a lot of people out there doing a lot of things. Some people have a big impact on the world, but hey, there's times things are going to happen. So you don't really know, but you still have to make decisions with absolute certainty. You have to have a vision within yourself. So the first decision you need to make every single day is, what are you going to focus on? What are you going to give your time and your attention to? That's decision number 1. And whatever decision you make about what to focus on, that's the first decision. Second decision is you have to realize, what does that mean? So if somebody could have a focus pattern where something happened in the past and they focus on it, they made it mean something. Something happens in this moment. You know, I flub some words that I'm saying. I stumble on my speech. I could make that mean something. I could say, oh, it means It means that I'm stupid. It means that I don't speak well. And it means that I shouldn't be doing this video. Some people have that inner dialogue with themselves. It just means that I flubbed. It doesn't mean anything. But sometimes we make things mean things that are insignificant. Something insignificant happens and we make it mean. It's the end of the world. God's punishing me. I'm stupid. It's like this big, huge thing. So something will happen for most people in the past, pulls their attention into the past, and they make it mean something negative about themselves. So the second decision you make is meaning. What have you made life mean? Income mean? Your job mean? Your spouse mean? Your kids mean? Are these like, because I got all these responsibilities? Life isn't a have to, it's a get to. And you got to make it mean like this is great, to be grateful, then this great thing you have called your life, to make it mean something powerful. So whatever you focus on, you need to make it mean something powerful for you. To say life's happening to me, not life's happening for me, not to me. It's like you got to make everything mean something. And you can create disempowering meanings about everything in your life, or you can create empowering meanings. That choice is yours. That's the second decision that you make. Third decision that you make every second of your life, unconsciously, is the action. So here's what happens. Most people have something happen. They focus on it. They make it mean something negative. And they say, what am I going to do? That's the third decision. So something negative could happen. You make it mean something negative, and somebody says, what am I going to do? Well, I'm just going to sit around and watch TV. It means that I should probably, because this means that, everything's hopeless, the action is do nothing. Give up. Watch TV, eat Cheetos, complain, go out and drink alcohol and smoke cigarettes and just kind of numb myself with entertainment, numb myself with meaningless relationships, numb myself with work, numb myself, take myself out of the moment so I don't have to deal with what I'm really feeling right now. Zig Ziglar said this best. He says, most people miss out on their goals in life by approximately 13 inches. That's the distance from your head to your heart. It's like when you can really focus, get present, and create empowering meanings, you will find that you will take a positive action for you in your life. So here's the thing. Here's what I want you to do right now. Make a decision to do this with me right now. Think about something in your past that comes up for you time to time. For some of you, maybe it's something that happened in 2008 with the economy. And every time a new investment opportunity comes up, your mind goes there and you make present situations based on past experiences. So now you operate in the present with fear and caution when you need to be bold and powerful. Don't make that mistake. So here's what happens. I want you to do this. I want you to think about something in your past. It could be something 9/11. It could be something somebody passed away. Think about something in your past that didn't serve you, that wasn't positive. Not a positive experience, but if you're honest with yourself, your mind goes there sometimes. So you focus on it. What did you make that mean? What did you make it mean about life, about investing? It's dangerous, it's scary. What did you make it mean about yourself? That you make bad mistakes, that you're a dumb person. What did you make it mean? And then think, what action did you take? Maybe you just acted out of fear. Maybe you distracted yourself. Maybe you become unfocused. Maybe you gave up. Maybe you settled in life. What was the action that you took? So here's what I want you to do. Think now again about that experience. And what we're going to do is we're going to make it mean something powerful. And we're going to change the focus to this moment. Just bear with me. And before we do it for yourself, I guess maybe it'll work out easier if I kind of tell you my, story that I'm accustomed to telling, a story that affected me. Imagine there was let's just say a kid who had a very troubled childhood. Felt so insecure based on some things that he saw, some things that he experienced, some sexual abuse, felt really uncomfortable in his own skin, got really weird because of that, just kind of awkward in his own body. Kids made fun of him, and he felt so weird, and he made it mean that he was dirty, that he was ugly, that he was stupid. And he always focused on that experience, and he didn't, even if his mind didn't go there, there was something in his body, not just mentally where his mind went there, it's like his energy went there, and and he made it mean something that made him shut down. And what was the action? He often didn't speak. He couldn't communicate. He felt alone most of his childhood. So he focused on something, not only just mentally, but energetically. He was locked into a pattern of thought and feeling and emotion, and made it mean something negative about himself, and then the action was hiding. It's like they say, even if you decide not to decide, you've made a choice. Even if you decide not to take an action, that's still an action. Hiding. Sometimes in life, we step back when we should be stepping up, and that's still movement. It's like the world's still turning. You gotta be moving just to keep up with that thing. But here's what this kid learned for himself. He started to change some of his decisions. He focused on that, and that experience didn't change. You can't change your past, and if you try to change your past, you feel disempowered because that's impossible. But I love that line from a song. It says, "The scars remind us that the past is real." And that's not a bad thing. We've all got scars. Emotional, physical, mental, spiritual scars when we hurt ourselves or others. But that boy now looked at that experience. He said, because that happened, he made it mean, well, maybe this is supposed to give me depth. Now I can look at somebody who went through the same thing, where it was a scared girl, or, that person who just feels lost. And they got this look on their face like, no, you don't understand me. That boy, because of that experience, can now look at that person and say, I know what you're going through. It allowed, he said, you know what, this is going to make me more compassionate. And going back to my favorite quote from Emmett Fox, he said, if you could only love enough, you could be the most powerful person in the world. People like Mother Teresa, Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, Gandhi, these were compassionate people. To be compassionate, to have understanding, this is true power. He says, wow, maybe that made me more powerful. And because he felt more powerful, he said he's going to talk about it. And he said, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to try to do everything I can to express myself, to get this out of me. And he started to go to seminars like, Tony Robbins, and then he got a job with Tony Robbins and started to speak, and work for Tony Robbins. And if it's not obvious, it's that boy was me. And I think for yourself, no matter what you've been through, you have to really look at. A lot of times people say, oh, that didn't happen. Yeah, it did happen, and that's okay. And, and I love Tony Robbins, and I love the seminars, and I love all these things, but I'm here to tell some of you right now, I read people's Facebook posts, and I go on YouTube, and I see some of the comments, and some people are like so angry and so mean, and, I love self-development. I think it's really great, but, I don't believe for a lot of people, a weekend seminar can change everything in your life. It can interrupt the pattern where now you decide to do things consistently. There's a guy who's a mentor, I'm not even going to say his name, you know who he is. He said that depressed people can cure themselves of depression, there's like some Harvard study or something like that, by smiling and looking up for 20 minutes a day. I don't know if that's true. I've been depressed before, and some days I still get into a funk. I don't know if it's genetic, I don't know if it's hormonal, I don't know, but in the past year we saw somebody like Robin Williams die, a guy that was so loved, and he wasn't on drugs, he wasn't on lots of alcohol, and he went to therapy, he did lots of different things, but he still, like something had grabbed a hold of him. There was a darkness that he couldn't get out of, and so I don't know. It's some of you out there, I know, are hurting, and I think that just like building a muscle, it's like we got to go to the gym some days even when we don't feel like it. And some people that are genetically predisposed to put on lots of weight. If you've got a big family and you're 300 pounds, it's going to be harder for you to lose weight than in some other people. If you're like Samoan and, just your genetics, it's like you did not win the genetic lottery. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. And for some people, they can be very talented, like a Elvis or Robin Williams, somebody like that, but it's like there's something in them. There's a darkness in them, and it's like we got to fight that darkness every single day, and that's a decision that we all must make. We got to decide that we're going to do something for ourselves, for our family, and we got to condition that. We got to set life up to really push us. It's like my life, the things I do, the coaching, the speaking, all that stuff. Sometimes I wake up in the morning, and I got to be honest with you, it's not like, oh yay, another seminar, oh yay, I get to hop on the phone for an hour and talk to people about life conditions and problems. And some days I don't really feel like doing that, but I got to get myself in state, and I got to get out of my own problems and my own worries, and I got to focus on somebody else. Become self-conscious the more we're conscious of ourselves. And sometimes you got to check in with yourself, but sometimes, it's like we gotta take that mirror, always looking at ourselves, and turn it into a window and start looking out. And you start to notice that tree, that pretty girl, that squirrel that just jumped over there, and go out in nature, and we get filled up by our ultimate parents, who's father time and mother nature, and you really connect with that energy. Something happens. So think about some decisions that you've made in the past. Take full responsibility. Say, hey, I created that thing, and I made it mean something negative about myself, and out of that meaning, I've disempowered myself. Only when you take full responsibility are you able to take your power back. Say, I created that. Not my parents put me in the situation, not, this boyfriend, not this girlfriend, not 2008, not Obamacare, none of that stuff. Just own it, and it's like, hey, successful people deal with challenges, but it's not about their resources of time, energy, money. They become resourceful. When there's no way, they find a way. And that's what successful people do, and that's what you must do, but that's the decision you must make. So think about what it is that your mind, where it goes, that hasn't served you. Decide you're going to make it mean something great. What Napoleon Hill said, he said, out of every adversity is the seed of a success, or a success of it is equivalent. I butchered that quote, but I think you know it if you read the book, and if not, you should make that decision. So think about whatever it is that has not served you. Make it mean something powerful, and take a positive action today. Hope you're well. Hope this has served you. I look forward to talking to you soon. Bye-bye.